right, everyone, welcome to another edition of Game Wild. It looks like we are in 36, and boy, what a 36 we have for you. Xbox release dates, PlayStation events, Twitch news, everything and anything. But before we get to that, please make sure you're liking us, subscribing, go to YouTube. We also have a Facebook group now. Facebook.com/groups/GameWildTV. You can also just search Game Wild, and I'm sure you'll find it there as well.
And Discord.
So join us. And we have a Discord, which if you are able to get into the Facebook group, there's a link right there that gives you an auto invite to the Discord channel. So as long as you're in the group, you'll be able to get into the Discord channel. So don't forget to send the request. And then myself or SJW over here will be able to basically give you the invite and bring you in so you can be in the inner circle.
And yeah, I'm excited. I mean, finally starting to get some of that stuff done out there with the Facebook group and the Discord, and lots to do with that stuff. Who knows where it's going to go? We got hopefully some big plans for the future, start to do some other stuff alongside the podcast here. And yeah, I mean, you nailed it though, man. We have this week. Oh man, the stuff that happened in the last 7 days is absolutely insane. So I'm super excited to get into these different news topics here, as well as the question of the week, which I could have guessed. I could have guessed you were going to choose this one, Joe.
which we're not going to get into the question of the week yet. As a matter of fact, we're going to go into the actual first set of news first.
Yep.
And then we're going to go into the question of the week. So, with that being said, it's official, guys. Thanks to a leak with the Xbox Series S, Microsoft said, you know what? We're just going to put it out there. Supposedly, Microsoft was going to plan an event this week coming up to announce all this stuff, but because of all the leaks and everything that's happening, Xbox said, you know what? We're going to get ahead of this now. Here it is. We laid it out for everyone. We're going in hard. Starting November 10th, you'll be able to hold an Xbox Series X or S in your hands, and September 22nd, pre-order starts. So you can pre-order it on September 22nd. But hold on.
What are the prices, Joe?
Kids.
What are the prices?
There's more, kids. There's more. Speaking of prices, if you want to spend upfront money, you are spending $499 for the Series X, and you are spending $299 for the Series S. However, Microsoft has made it more palatable for those who might not have that type of cake up front. You will be able to lock yourself into what looks like at least a 2-year contract with Microsoft to get the systems. Yes, you can pay monthly for your Xbox, and it comes out at $24.99 a month over 24 months, or I believe $34.99 for the Series X. So the Series S, $24.99, the Series X, $34.99. But don't forget, guys, that's not just for the system. That also includes the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate.
Which, and let me make sure I understand this correctly, because I've read up on Ultimate to make sure I have a good understanding of it. Basically, you just have this suite of like 100 or 200 games, I forget what the number is, that you will always have access to, similar to what Sony was offering with, I forget the PS Now a little while ago. And basically you have access to those, and they're going to be adding more games as they come out. And it's always going to include, supposedly, any Xbox Studios related games. So those will always be in there. I mean, we have some big ones, obviously, that are on
Halo
that list.
Infinite.
Halo Infinite, yeah. So that will be included with the access to that.
But hold on, there's more to this, guys. It goes down. Bigger news just came down the pipe with them. They have partnered with EA, and now EA Play comes with Game Pass at no additional cost, which means you get to play any of the games. Well, not all the EA games, but you get to play all the EA games that are available on Pass. And if I'm not mistaken, that also gives you discounts to their AAA titles. So you get I think it's a 10% discount on games like Madden 21, FIFA 21, games like that. And then you can play select titles on EA Play at no cost. So that is also included in that. So that's a big thing as well. So
EA Play, I pulled it up real quick too. So like I see Madden 20 on here, but you're saying it's not, you don't actually get access to it, you just get a discount?
I think so. I'm not 100% sure because I'll tell you what, if that is the case, Xbox is a powerhouse now because if they bring in somebody like EA and you get their new games included in the Game Pass, you are essentially getting multiple AAA titles now.
Yeah,
Third
I
party
mean,
AAA titles, and you're getting that. And you
I
know what?
could
I haven't
see.
checked because to be honest with you, I don't know if it's turned on already, but I have Game Pass Ultimate already and I
Yeah.
don't have an Xbox. So, I mean, I don't have an Xbox Series X, obviously, but I do have Game Pass Ultimate. So it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see if that's something that's going to start on November 10th or if it's something that's already available. And
So,
I guess shame on me for not looking into that sooner.
well, I will say, so like when I think of EA, I think of like the sports games. I don't really think of a huge suite of or a library of games, but if you pull up EA Play, there actually is a lot of stuff, a lot of random games I have never in my life heard of, first off. But Worms is also an EA game, which I completely forgot about. Yeah.
Worms the game that you.
Worms WMD.
Yeah, I mean you've played that
Yeah,
before.
no, yeah, I love Worms. So that's what
Oh,
I'm saying though. Like,
we played that at PAX East.
yes, yeah. And there's some other stuff here too. Like I said, a lot of games I haven't seen. I'm trying to. Oh, Star Wars. All the Star Wars stuff will also be on here as well. So that's obviously a big pickup. And yeah, I mean, in general, Xbox is going to have a lot of games available with Game Pass. So I don't necessarily dislike Game Pass. I like PlayStation Now for the same reason. Like, you have all these games available to you. I think PS Now had a much larger library, so I'm actually still curious as to why PS Now really never took off. I guess PlayStation just didn't package or market it like Microsoft is, and Microsoft's done a great job with Game Pass. But all right, here we go.
It does look like. Hold on, it does look like they have a pro version of EA
Yeah.
Play, which
Yep.
I think comes with that stuff.
So EA Play Pro, yeah, it looks like you have like Command and Conquer is in this one too. Anthem, a lot of the bigger games. So it looks like Pro is where you're getting some of the bigger, more reputable games. But either way, I mean, listen, between EA Play and Game Pass, you get a lot of games. So you get your money's worth. So I don't think that's really a question there. So, but here we go, Joe. Here's my issue. All right.
Here we go, yo. Here we go.
I'm pulling
Here we go,
out
yo.
my calculator for this one. So here's all right. Before I get into my what I dislike about it, what I will say is I think what Microsoft is doing is a very good idea as far as video games in general are concerned, and from a business perspective, because one thing that Nintendo's always had an advantage in is something like the Wii. Everybody bought the Wii because everybody could play the Wii. Like, it was just interesting. You could play tennis. Everybody knows tennis. You could play tennis on a Wii. So it made it more, desirable for anybody, even if you're a non-gamer. And I think that's kind of what this whole, like, leasing the system thing is. You do own the system at the end of it, so I don't want you to think you don't. But, the monthly fee, I think, makes it so that people that may not actually be a gamer, quote unquote, at heart, might still get the system just because it's more affordable, right? Or at least more affordable now, right this second. So I do like that overall. Here's my problem, though, being a gamer and looking at this whole thing is we've already mentioned the whole physical game thing, so I'm not going to get into that. Like, yeah, you don't own any of the games. I would personally like to own the games, and that might not be the majority, so we won't get into that. But if you do the math, okay, the $500 version, if you get it per month, is $34.99 per month, right? So
if you buy the Series X, yes.
Yeah. So $34.99 times 24 is actually $839. $840.
Yeah, $840.
Yeah. So you're actually paying more than what the system would cost. Now, technically, you're paying, I think, what it would equal to just have the Game Pass alongside the system, right? So you're actually saving a little bit of money if you were to get the Game Pass Ultimate. Yeah, I know that's what you're already going to get at. But this just loops people in to paying for Game Pass Ultimate. So again, here, and I know our boss at work, Joe, always makes this reference to Planet Fitness, and I'm going to use his reference here. We all hate the fact that we have Netflix memberships and Planet Fitness memberships and all this stuff that you just can't turn off, or if you do, you just forget to turn it off. And in this case, you're actually locked into a 2-year contract. You have no choice but to pay for this for 2 years. So business perspective, yeah, it's smart. That's why Planet Fitness and Netflix are doing well. But from a gamer perspective, this to me, it just screams, I don't want to have another membership that I'm locked into. I'm not gonna buy it. So I'll just buy the system.
But here's the thing, right? Okay, let's get down to the nitty gritty. You can do that. You can buy the system.
Yeah, it's still an option.
If you want to. Mm-hmm. It's still an option. They're not forcing you to do this. There's number one. Number two, breaking this down, you are at least getting a piece of hardware included with this. The stuff that you referenced, there's nothing physical.
It's a service. Yeah.
Okay, It's a service. You actually have to go to Planet Fitness. You actually have to find a third-party device to get on Netflix. This is your device with everything. So you're getting something physical. It's in front of your face. It's there. It's top of mind. So I think there's a little difference between your comparisons here.
There is a little difference. Overall, I think this is good.
But here's my thing. I think when you're doing something like this, you're doing this because you want to do it. Not because you're like, you know what I mean? Like, could there be times when you lapse Netflix and stuff like that, and you're like, I haven't used Netflix in like 3 months. Yeah, I get it. And there could be times where you're like, I haven't picked up my Xbox controller in 2 months. It's possible, yes. But you're getting a physical piece of hardware along with the service. So I think that's what changes it.
I like it. So overall, listen, if PlayStation was going to outsell Xbox on release, this helped Xbox bridge that gap. So I think this is a positive thing for Microsoft and Xbox. Now, here is where I think the problem comes in. So they're playing the long-term game, which is fine. Obviously that's a smart, again, business decision. We've already established, and I think the general consensus is that the PlayStation was going to outsell the Xbox on release because of their games. Because of what's available currently and what will be available on release, whereas Xbox doesn't have much. Plus, we had Halo Infinite pushed, which is not good. So that's kind of the real crux right now in Microsoft's plan on release. And so 2 years, if they aren't providing good games to merit paying that monthly subscription in the next 2 years, you're going to see a lot of negative feedback from people paying for this membership over the course of 2 years, which could work against Microsoft. So, and I'm not saying that'll happen. I guarantee there's going to be good games that come out. But I don't know. I still think that this is not what they should have focused on. They still should have focused on the games, because at the end of the day, that's what people want, is good content. And if they don't have the good content or the good games for the system, it's not going to sell well. It's just not.
Well, I still think, to your point there, they are going to fail that part, right? They're going to have those AAA titles coming out. And you and I spoke about it before when we were discussing this when they first announced all this. If Microsoft can come out with at least 2 AAA titles per year that people would pay $60 for, then it's worth it. And I think that they will be, not including the mid-tier games that people like to play, like the
I don't think 2 is worth it. I think money-wise, 2 games is worth it if you're just worried about getting your money's worth. But I don't think that's what people are worried. They're worried about good content. So I think they need at least 1 a quarter, like 1 AAA title a quarter to come out and be available on Game Pass. Not really when you think about it. Think about how many games we talk about every week that are being released. There's usually,
but how many are AAA titles?
There's usually like 1 every 2 weeks at least. I'm telling you. And then when you start thinking about how many AAA titles Sony has, they probably have 1 a month that's released.
We're going to do it. We're going to have to do this now, guys. We're going to have a counter set up where we go every week. We have to mark what a AAA title. Is it a AAA title? What is defined as a AAA title?
I think that would be interesting to look into, right? Is how many AAA titles were actually released, for each console. I mean, Nintendo and Sony seem to have more, whereas Nintendo isn't necessarily, it's weird with Nintendo. Nintendo has Nintendo games, which are basically just AAA by default because it's Nintendo. Like Donkey Kong might not be a AAA title in the sense of comparing it with Call of Duty sales, but it's Donkey Kong on Nintendo, and if you have a Nintendo, you're buying Donkey Kong. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit weird when evaluating a AAA title on Nintendo, but I do think that would be interesting. And speaking of the Xbox stuff, we have the price of the Xbox. We have this whole Game Pass, this whole new lease, the system. You can get it for nothing on the day it drops. But what about the PlayStation 5? We still don't got nothing, but we're going to have something soon. We're going to have something soon.
That's right. Wednesday, September 16th, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Mark your calendars and make sure you're watching out for our announcements because we will be going live Wednesday to watch this event as we have with other things. So, September 16th, that's a Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. PlayStation will have their event. We will be streaming it live. We will be interacting with people. So, please come aboard. Let's talk about it. We do have a good feeling that they're going to release everything.
Do you, Joe? Do you, Joe? Or did you just jinx it?
I have a really good feeling.
Did you just jinx it? You just cursed this whole reveal.
Listen, if I curse this reveal, then Sony's got some problems because they are now behind the 8 ball where they could have been ahead of the 8 ball.
Are they though? Are they actually? Because at this point, does it really even matter with how close we are to the releases? I feel like Xbox and Sony could have waited until like freaking Halloween to release these prices, and it wouldn't have actually made a difference because it's still gonna give let's say it was Halloween, and what is it, the 10th? The 10th, the Xbox is coming out in November. So
November 10th,
yeah. So let's say it's the same for PS5. That's 10 days, right? 10 days is still enough time for that information to circulate across the world and change people's opinion of what they're gonna buy. Like, I don't even think it actually mattered at this point. So that, and the reason I mentioned the reason I mentioned that though is, what's your take, Joe, on like, does so first off, so this is kind of a two-pronged question.
Yep.
Did PS5 very specifically say, hey guys, all right, we're all gonna get together in a room and meet about this. We're not gonna say shit about our system until Xbox says something. And on the second question, does being the last person to show their hand give Sony an advantage or a disadvantage in this particular case?
I don't think it actually gives an advantage or a disadvantage unless there's unless they undercut them, right?
Yeah, okay, that's
so
what I was gonna say. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Like, unless they undercut them, that's like the real biggest piece of the situation is what will happen if something happens where Sony's like, hey, guess what? We're coming out at $449 for our full-fledged system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, something like that. Like, if they came out like guns a-blazing and it was like, all right, we're going to match you. Here it is. We're going to one-up you. $449 for the system. We're also going to come out with our diskless system at, probably they would have to.
Or just
no, they couldn't.
S. Yeah,
they would have to go to. They'd have to match that price. Yeah. But if they undercut Xbox, which I don't think they're going to do, I think it's going to be same prices. But what I think they're going to do is, I think they're going to leapfrog the competition a little bit, and they're going to set pre-orders earlier. I almost have a feeling that pre-orders for the Sony PlayStation 5 will be
live on the
this
conference
Friday. No.
I think they might actually say, as of the conference, they're going to go live.
No, because they said they were going to give people enough time to pre-order it. They're not giving people enough time if they're like, pre-orders are live right now or at the end of this conference. That's not enough time. Listen, I've seen these things happen. We have a lot of big events this week, okay? On the 15th, Apple's releasing all their stuff.
Oh, that's right.
And I guarantee you Apple's going to be like, here's the stuff. They're pre-ordering. Pre-order starts at mid to end of September, and it will be available in mid to late October.
God damn, that's if you're getting an iPhone, a PlayStation, and an Xbox, you are going to be dead broke this holiday. that is definitely not going to be fun if you're having it, because I mean the iPhone's going to cost probably like $700-800. So
well, it all depends, but the speculation on the iPhones, and I know we're not a true technology podcast, but there's 3 iPhones that are supposed to be coming out. There's going to be a consumer level one, which you can get at a reasonable cost. There's going to be your mid-tier, and then there's going to be your high-end expensive ones with some type of like
7 cameras on the back.
It does focus a lot about the camera and some tracing or something. I don't know. It's not ray tracing, but it's some specific thing. Anyways, right? As I was saying, I believe that they will be releasing the pre-orders on Friday.
Okay.
That's my thought. That's my guess.
You guess Friday. I'm going to guess by the end of the day on Wednesday. So either at the end of the conference or by like midnight on Wednesday or something like that.
If they say, listen, if they say, hey, at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so let's say this thing goes 2 hours.
Yeah.
Or an hour and a half, right? That brings us to 5:30, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. If they tell everyone that it will be available through every online realtor and physical realtor, retailer, at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time online, and then at opening time for every physical store the next day. Good for them. But that doesn't give me the feeling of what they said, where they'd say they give people a reasonable enough time to know when pre-orders were happening. But me personally, people get paid on Fridays. People start to buy stuff.
That's a
paychecks
good point.
on Fridays.
Yeah.
It's a smart move if they say, hey, beginning Friday morning or Friday afternoon, even if they're like, hey, it's happening Friday, get your keyboard ready, get your mouse ready for 4:00. We are allowing pre-orders.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, pushing it to that point,
man,
when everyone's out of work, ready to go. Because to be honest with you, I don't even know what September 22nd looks like. Like, am I supposed to stay up till midnight? And then, like, once the clock turns 12:01 and it's September 22nd, I got to get on whatever store I'm going to buy it on and buy it, or I have to pre-order it through Microsoft's website through the monthly payment system. Like, how does that work? There's no time setting. So, like, because if I want to get one, do I want to be as crazy and say, hey, I'll be up at midnight on September 22nd so I can pre-order one and lock one in, so I don't lose my spot? You know, that type of thing. So it'll be interesting to see, because the landscape's changed, right?
Oh, I was just going to say that. Oh my God, I'm so interested to see how well these systems sell. It's crazy.
Because it's something where you would normally be like, all right, that day I'm going to the store, I'm going to GameStop, I'm going wherever, I'm pre-ordering it. Now it's like, well, you can pre-order it online. Let's go. Where are we going to pre-order it and stuff like that?
Well, and this whole COVID thing too, like, so we're talking about, okay, is Sony going to sell more than Xbox? But I think one of the points we haven't really mentioned is, will these, like, just blow anything ever for holiday season out of the water as far as sales are concerned? Either full revenue amount or just the number of units sold? Because Corona just happened. Corona is still happening. It's still on people's mind. So everybody's, you know, we saw Animal Crossing. We saw Animal Crossing just kill sales. And that's a Nintendo game, not even a console. So now we got PlayStation 5 and Xbox. It's going to be like, everybody's going to be like, oh my God, well, if the world ends, I want to be playing video games. So I want to get both of these systems, maybe one of them, who knows. And I'm so curious to see those final numbers by end of year 2020 as to how much these consoles sell.
Well, we'll definitely do some type of year in review with that stuff once it comes out, for sure. But like I said, I think I don't think Sony's going to undercut them. I just don't see that to be, because I think Sony thinks that they can ride the games, like you said. I think they're coming out with a strong launch set. So I think they can say, hey, listen, we're okay matching the price, because I think reasonably matching the price they have to do. They can, but it is not a good strategy to be more than them, like they've done in the past. So I think they need to be at 500.
I do kind of like, my first thought is to actually agree with you. My first thought is, okay, like, they know what Xbox is trying to do now. They know that their system is likely going to outsell just based on the current game library. So do they really need to care about changing the price? And I think most people in business are going to go, well, if you don't think you need to change the price, why would you bother making less money? So I do tend to agree with that. Part of me, I'm not on their marketing team. I don't see the marketing research that they've done. I've seen some stuff on IGN and whatnot about some of the marketing research that has been done in regards to what system will, sell more. So I don't know how in depth they went, but if they really did a lot of marketing research and somehow found that there's just an overwhelming response to the actual games PlayStation has versus Xbox, and they really think it's going to do that well, it is entirely possible that they actually charge for the disc version of the system $549.99. I think they might actually try that if they really think that their system will outsell that well compared to Xbox. But yeah, I'm hard pressed to think they undercut it, because
I don't think they are.
They're gonna take a loss if they do. And we saw what happened. The PS3 was probably the worst performing PlayStation on launch ever released. And we saw what happened with them taking a loss on that, and that was actually, I mean, shit, that was priced at 600, I think, when it came out for like no reason other than the fact that it had this thing called a cell
Blu-ray.
processor or
Well,
whatever.
plus it was Blu-ray. I
Yeah,
think,
plus
too.
it was
like
Blu-ray at the time, which was way ahead of its time to actually have a Blu-ray player. So it was just wicked high price system that didn't perform well, and I think PlayStation knows. I mean, if you hit that 600 price point, it's going to be too much. 550 has not been tried, and I don't know. I'd be curious to see if they do that, but I think they'll match it. I think they'll match it. Yeah.
So they're going to match it for a couple of reasons, right? One, because I think with the landscape of how the actual economy is, I think they'd be pricing themselves out of some people's price range by even going $50 higher. I think by matching 500, they're at least people. It's already Xbox has set next gen expectations pricing wise. Okay, so if Sony goes higher than that, it could hurt them in the long run. So. And honestly, I think that reasonably they were probably going to come out at these numbers because it makes sense to be around this number. Going too high,
well,
I can tell you I'm going to be spending $60 more on the PlayStation launch than I am on the Xbox launch because I'm actually going to buy a game with the PlayStation, where with the Xbox, because I've been such a fan of them, I have the Ultimate Game Pass, I have everything already. All the games that I want are already in my library. So I'll be able to get it. And I think Cyberpunk I'm going to buy, but I don't know. I think that's actually coming out after the launch now. So technically I don't have to pre-order that right there, but I'll be pre-ordering the Spider-Man game with PlayStation.
So here's the other interesting side of this, though. I think me and you are both resigned to just, okay, we're going to buy the bigger version of the system. I'm going to buy the disc version because I buy games, and you'll buy the Xbox Series X as opposed to the S. You said you might buy an S as well, but so this second system is actually where a lot of the differences come in, because everybody's very quick to say, okay, the Xbox is more powerful than the PS5, which it is, but now in this generation, I think that actually just doesn't matter, period, because what kind of additional added graphics are you going to get with that much more power? It's just not really going to happen. So what there is a big difference with, though, is Xbox's take on their second version of the system is actually a less powerful system. Like, there's actually different CPU and stuff being utilized in the S so that they are able to cut that cost by $200. And it still plays disc, though, I think, right? The Series S.
I don't know. I didn't look to see. That's a good question.
Xbox Series S.
I would think that it probably doesn't. No, it doesn't. It's discless.
Oh, it is discless. Okay, cool. So I actually
which would make sense.
I like that.
Which would make sense because you'd want it to go. Because you want it to go cheaper. You want to go as cheap as possible, and the best way to do that is to remove a disk drive.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I think that in conjunction with the slower or less useful CPU in that version is what's able to allow them to cut it by $200. So the PS5, their version is just cutting the disk drive. It's the same system, just no disk. So there's two things here. I'm curious to see how the second version of the system actually sells, and I'm curious to see what people value more. Do they value the second version being cheaper, or do they value the second version just being like the same exact system and not having a CD drive? Is it what wins out here? Price or the whole digital kind of shift that we're seeing in gaming for people to not actually own the games anymore?
So, just so you know, I'm reading this stuff right here, and it says the primary difference between the Series X and the S is in resolution. Though through talking to customers, we found that many of the fans prioritize frame rate over resolution. So we wanted to build a console that didn't require a 4K TV. Xbox Series S delivers approximately 3 times the GPU performance of the Xbox One, and it plays games at 1440p at 60 frames per second, with support up to 120 frames per second.
Yeah, and so, I think that's interesting, right? Because we are, I think, now this year probably going to start heading towards that 4K shift. Like, I think 4K, the last couple of years, 4K has always been like pushed, but like nobody uses it because there's a lot of things that don't utilize 4K yet. But I think now we're past the early adoption stage of 4K, and we're getting into, okay, it's going to be mainstream for TVs and computers, etc. So I don't know if that's necessarily the right decision to make their second version of the system not 4K compatible, just for the sake of dropping it another $100. That's why I'm curious. Like, will the lighter PlayStation do better than the Series S? You know, what are people actually valuing more there? And I mean, listen, if you are somebody that's on the sort of lease structure that the Xbox has, I imagine you'll value the Series S more because you don't care about resolution. You actually just care about just getting games, period, for as cheap as possible, right? And that's kind of the Nintendo approach in that case, right?
Yeah. So from the looks of it, I'm actually looking at a comparison sheet, which we'll have a link to. But basically, the processors are both 8 cores. It's just that the X is a 3.8 and the S is a 3.6. The GPU is 52 CUs at 1.8 gigahertz, where the Series S is 20 CUs at 1.5. GPU power 12 teraflops versus 4 teraflops in the S, so there's a significant drop there. RAM 16 gigs for the Xbox Series X and 10 for the S, so 6 gig difference. We talked about the performance targets, right? 4K for the X, 1440 for the S, and then you have storage, 1 terabyte on the S, the X, 512 on the S. So those are your big differences right there to be able to take that $200 cut.
That is something actually that we haven't even mentioned yet either, and I think this to me anyways, this is the bigger difference between both systems, between the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. And that's the storage. The PS5, I don't know how the hell they landed on, like, is it 820? It's
something weird.
820 gig. That's not even like what even is that? Can you buy that many gigs on a hard drive now? Like, is that even a thing? Like, I don't know what kind of like random black market deal they got to get like 180-ish gigs less under a terabyte and stick those in a PS. Like, that just, it's so weird of a number. And I mean, maybe their goal was, okay, we're getting a little bit of a discount here and nobody'll care about 820 versus 1024. Like, it's small enough of a difference where people will be like, it's whatever. And I think that might be the case, but me personally, like, 200 gigs, it's 200 gigs nowadays. That's like 4 games, right? I mean, games generally are like 50 gigabytes. So if you are downloading games, I feel like you need that 200 gigabytes, especially if you're getting the diskless version of the PlayStation.
Well, just so you know, they both have the ability to be expanded to another terabyte. Both systems have the expansion to a terabyte. So you could essentially get a terabyte and a half and 2 terabytes, depending on what you do get. But yeah.
Nice. So
I
don't know, man. I'm just very curious. There's a lot of different scenarios happening now in this console generation war than previously, than in other wars. In other wars, it was pretty clear cut as to this console, like PS4 and PS3 and PS2 for an example, especially PS3. It was pretty powerful. It was pretty obvious with PS3 that it was the most powerful system. Hence, it was priced high. And then you had the 360, which at the time, I think a lot of people agreed that it had the better game lineup pre-release, but prior to the system coming out. PS2, it was very like PS2 is the best system. It's like it was hands down PS2 is the most powerful system, and it also had a great like that was probably the best system of all time. So that one was it was very clear. Now it's very clear like that. Yes, technically Xbox is more powerful. Yes, technically PlayStation has the bigger game lineup, but there's a lot of differences where it's not really about which system is better now. It's more so, what are you valuing more as a person that you want in your gaming console? There's two very different approaches here to marketing and selling these consoles, and I'm very curious to see what happens and what kind of outsells. Does the diskless outsell the S? Does the 5 outsell the X? And what people as a society are actually valuing more here in this generation war.
No, I got you, and I really think that we're gonna see an interesting battle between them, because I think you might actually see Xbox perform better than expectations because of this monthly payment system. But we'll see.
Yeah. So all right. So next up on the docket, man. All right, we have There's been a lot happening, like not just with PlayStation 5 and stuff, but just on the stream front as well, right? So we got some
Right.
Ninja action back on the front, right?
Ninja my ninja, he's back with Twitch, multi-year deal, inked the contract. Now, the one thing that I was interested in all this is that he's taking a different approach than normal, because let's face it, he's got the money now. What does it matter? He could have stayed off this and he'd be fine. But I guess from what I read, he's going to try to take an approach to try to help out smaller streamers. So we'll see how that works out. But that's kind of what his focus is going to be like now, is to just like try to, and I don't know how he's going to do it or what the deal is going to be, but
so I think
that's what I
that
saw.
for his brand, yeah, and that's what I'm reading too, and I mean that kind of makes sense, just from a everything standpoint. I mean, everybody likes a large celebrity type person that's trying to help up and comers, right? So in this case, I know Ninja kind of got a lot of flack for selling out, quote unquote, to Mixer. And I saw a clip of Tim the Tap Man who was talking about Ninja's supposed selling out. And basically the comparison he gave to the people watching his stream that were complaining that Ninja sold out, he's like, listen, if you were working at McDonald's and Burger King was like, hey, we'll give you $1 million if you come work here instead, are you really gonna be like, nah, nope, McDonald's for life, bro? Like I'm staying here. And I'm like, that's a very simple analogy, but it works, right? Like it's not about selling out. It's about being rational at that point. It's about doing what's best for not only you. I mean, you do have to worry about yourself, but just what just makes the most sense. And I think that's what Ninja did. And on top of that, doing that Mixer deal, and this is why I mentioned it's good for his brand. If you are a rational thinker and you don't just think he sold out for money because you're just mad that he got millions of dollars for playing video games, he also helped gaming in general. Like, by making that deal, he put gaming on the map as like a legitimate, oh yeah, you can get $10 million contracts, $20 million contracts for playing video games by these large companies owned by Amazon and Microsoft. And that's good overall for the community, right? So I think now switching back over to Twitch and basically having failed with the previous deal, like, yeah, you know what, this didn't work out. It is what it is. He's admitting that it didn't work out. Now he can say, listen, that was my goal with Mixer, was by making that deal, I wanted to help streaming as a whole as well. Now he can come back to Twitch and go, listen, I still want to help streaming as a whole. Maybe it's a little bit of a different landscape because Mixer is shut down, but I'm on the biggest platform for streaming. I'm on the biggest gaming community platform. This is where I can do the most to help the streaming and gaming community. Let's go ahead and try to do that. And yeah, so for that reason, I really do like that he ended up on Twitch again. I'm sure they had kind of a heart-to-heart conversation. I can only imagine how that went in the office, right? Like they're meeting in this big conference room with this large table. You got these Amazon execs, talking about paying this guy that plays video games millions of dollars, and he probably comes in like, listen, can somebody just tell me what happened with the porn? Like can somebody just be honest with what happened with the porn? And then Twitch is probably like, yeah, man, we're sorry. Like, let's let bygones be bygones. And Ninja's probably like, yeah, you're probably right. Like, we need to not give a shit about this. And they just kind of have that heart to heart of, let's just get over everything that happened and do what's best for both of us here. And I think what's best for Twitch and what's best for Tyler Ninja Blevins is to get back on Twitch and stream to a huge audience.
No, I agree with you, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, very, very excited. I don't know. Have you caught any of his streams as of late?
What's that?
Have you caught any of his streams as of late?
No, I don't watch his streams at all.
Yeah, I don't usually either, but because he's always in the news and this is like what I'm getting more involved in, I try to keep on the up and up with him. And I also want to see, like, what is he doing that might be different than other streamers. Here, I'll let you in on a secret. It's nothing. It's just he streams. So he just streams. He's got a good personality on stream, but he nothing special. Doesn't have these ridiculous, like, cool layovers for his stream like everybody pays thousands of dollars to get somebody to do. Just regular old box with his picture in it. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see it. I went on to, I think he was playing. What's that game everybody's playing right now? Not Fall Guys, the other one.
Oh, I only know Fall Guys. Something else is big
Yeah,
now.
there's some other game it's like, yeah, I forget the name of the game, but he was playing. It's like where everybody's put into like a spaceship, and you have to figure out like who the killer is or something. I don't even really know how it works. Nah, it's not ringing a bell.
Sorry.
No.
No.
All right. Well, anyways, he did have like I think up to like 30,000 viewers or something like that. So, still on the up and up as far as Ninja is concerned. But on the down, still a bunch of other Twitch streamers. The amount of suspensions continuing to come out and bans and everything. We had the Dr. Disrespect thing, which to this day, we still don't know what happened with Dr. Disrespect. Like, he's on YouTube. He does his thing on YouTube, but we still have no idea. He's still saying he has no idea whether or not that's true. Who knows? I mean, I tend to believe Dr. Disrespect. I feel like he wouldn't not tell people depending on what the actual scenario was. But, hey, who knows? On the other side, though, we have Destiny and not the game, because I actually thought this was the game when Joe gave me this article. Where did you find this, by the way, this Destiny article? How did you find out about this?
On one of our on our streamer Facebook groups, one of the streaming Facebook groups.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, it's I don't know if you guys, I personally have not heard of Destiny, but apparently he encouraged violence on stream, and to make a long story short here, essentially there's all this riots and stuff going on, and I guess on stream he said something about like just he wouldn't mind if somebody just quote unquote mowed down all the rioters if if it meant stopping the violence, and he said he would personally approve of somebody who did that, and I so Joe, I guess my question is to you, what's your feeling about, because we can only at least hope that he was, joking about that. What are your thoughts on joking about something like that? And when I say mowing down, too, for anybody listening,
Can't.
it's quoted. So he did say mowing down, quote unquote.
Yeah, you can't joke about that stuff. You can't joke about a lot of things these days. I mean, this is going back to, like, honestly, the beginning days of Twitter, and when comedians would work out.
Yeah.
So comedians would do a lot of, like, kind of test jokes on Twitter to see, because jokes usually are pretty quick one-liners, getting feedback, and there are people who make jokes about very sensitive topics and have been basically blackballed in some respects, and had to rebuild relationships and rebuild their their basic brand. And I think that's the problem. You can't joke about stuff like that.
So
it's just too dangerous. And to be honest with you, if you're joking about it, there's probably like a 1% chance that you're actually not kidding, and because why would you even think about that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
well, it's like a
foolish.
stereotype. It's like a stereotype. Like, the stereotypes are like that for a reason. It's like, yeah, we're joking, but kind of not really, right? So actually, I love that you brought up comedian, because now this actually sparks a interesting thought in my head. So let's assume that Destiny is 100% joking here, like without a doubt, and he even comes out, makes a statement, I was joking, it was a joke. So if he's joking, he gets banned for it. And we comedians, when you go and watch a comedian and listen to a comedian, you are paying to listen to that comedian in usually a theater or something like that. And that, I have heard some pretty bad jokes, like really bad, like shitting on women, like anti-feminist stuff, like shitting on African Americans, like just, really racist jokes sometimes too. And I guess the understanding is you signed up to listen to a comedian, so you understand that what he's saying or what she's saying is a joke, and you laugh. For the most part, they get the crowd to laugh because they wouldn't be there otherwise. Now let's put that comedian on Twitch. Let's put a category together that's comedy, or I don't know, talk shows and podcasts, or I don't know, IRL. That's a thing. Now, are you gonna ban the comedian from Twitch for making a joke when otherwise in a public setting that people pay to have access to and to watch, they pay for that shit, that's totally fine? So why is it not fine on stream, but it's okay in a concert hall when a comedian's performing?
Because you're in a different platform, there's different restrictions, you're signing up for something. Like when you become a streamer and you work on Twitch, you have guidelines and rules that you have to follow. When you go into an event center and you're a comedian, you're pretty much able to say whatever you
It's your own
want.
brand.
I mean, like, let's take Michael Richards, for example. We'll go back way back when he did that comedy scenes. For those who don't know who Michael Richards is, he was Kramer on Seinfeld. And
that's his
a
name?
while back, a
I
long
didn't know
time
that.
ago now, he did this very extreme rant because someone was interrupting his set. But he was able to do it. He was not taken off the stage right away. He was able to basically continue to rant and rave and scream at the person and use profanities and things of that nature. So it comes down to the platform that you're using, right? So if you're going to use Twitch, there's guidelines that you have to follow. And if you do not follow those guidelines, you can be taken off the platform. You could be suspended. You could be unpartnered like Destiny was. And it specifically came out from the legal team. Like Twitch's legal team spoke to him about this. This isn't just like a representative from Twitch saying, sorry, due to this XYZ, you're going to be unpartnered. They brought their lawyers into this, which makes it an even bigger problem for him because they are totally not taking this. They're taking this to heart, and they should, because listen, the one thing I've realized by not only watching streaming, but being a streamer is that you have the ability, fortunate or unfortunate, to manipulate human beings.
Influence them. Yeah.
And to influence them. That's probably more of a positive word to use, but when you're talking about something negative, you are manipulating people. And all it takes is for him to say that and to take one of his extreme people who follow him, who love him,
to actually do that.
Do something like that. And that's the problem we have in this country. Not to go on a rant, but that's the problem, is that we have become a society where people put other people on platforms now. And granted, people have done that in the past, but now that there's such an ability for just Joe Schmo to just become this famous person overnight, and then we don't have anything about his background or her background and what they can do and what they've done and stuff like that. So when they start spouting off stuff like this, even as a joke, they give somebody who has issues. And like, listen, I love everyone who's on Twitch and the people that are there, but I've been in chat rooms with high profile people, and there are a lot of people who have issues that watch this stuff to make themselves feel better. They're depressed.
We've heard about them in articles that we've gone over here.
Right. They have anxiety issues. They have all different types of issues, and it's great that they have found an outlet to feel better by watching other people play video games, interacting, but they're more easily influenced. And that's the part, because all it takes is someone who has a series of depression, has a bad day, and says, you know what? I'm going to make Destiny's comment or reality. I got a Jeep.
I'll make his dream come true. Like, So.
And it's unfortunate, but true. But yeah, you can't do stuff like that. And I think that's where Twitch took quick action and is like, listen, this isn't going to be tolerated, because they themselves probably understand the type of influence that their partners have with the community. And that's why they did it. And I'm glad they took swift action on that. Even though he may have been joking, you can't say stuff like that.
Yeah, and I do agree with Twitch's action. It's unfortunate for Destiny to no longer be able to do what he wants to do, and it's something I stream and I commentate on Legend of Runeterra games, and it's always something you have to actively think of, because sometimes, listen, you gotta control the thoughts going on in your head. All right, like you got some stuff, like your mom said when you were like 4 years old, think before you speak. All right, you got some stuff going on up there. You got to just not spit it out sometimes. And unfortunately, Destiny did it here and got punished for it. And real quick, before we get into the deals and the games coming out this week, there was also another person suspended, Leafy, a pretty high-profile streamer, for basically giving Pokimane a lot of crap as of late for specifically the whole boyfriend incident, which, if you guys do not know what that is, Pokimane essentially if you look on her social media and stuff, you had no idea she had a boyfriend for the longest time. I don't know the exact time frame, but it was long enough where you'd think you'd see something on social media. And apparently people did not like that. Oh, are you trying to hide that you have a boyfriend because, you know,
Right.
being single gets you more followers and yada, yada, yada.
Absolutely.
And which honestly, for a female, you know, it is what it is.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. If you're gonna go that route, go for it.
Yeah, because hey guys, just a heads up, Twitch isn't Match.com.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
guys?
If you didn't know,
It's not made for you to be able to go and say, hey, I'm gonna be able to hook up with this streamer. No, but once again,
that's not how it works. Oh
no. So hey, but listen,
damn it.
this goes back to my points about the fact that people who are on stream, who watch streamers, have issues, underlying issues, unfortunately, in their lives, and it's another outlet for them, right? And if it's fantasizing or believing that, hey, maybe I have a chance with this person, you know,
Yeah,
it's the unfortunate piece of it, right? So just like Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber. So you're telling me there's a chance?
There's 5 no's and 1 yes is still a yes.
But listen, but that's the problem, right? If they're single,
Yep.
every person that has that feeling is going off that Dumb and Dumber quote, basically, of the 1 in 1 million chance, and he's like, 1 in 1 million, huh? So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And listen, regardless of what you're trying to do or what ulterior motive you might have, it is totally her prerogative to do whatever she wants with.
It's her personal
whether or
life. She can
not-
do whatever
yeah,
she wants.
I don't give a flying shit as to what she reveals and doesn't reveal to
Right.
her following. So
Yeah, as long as she's not lying to people, I think it's fine.
yeah. As long as she's not blatantly saying I'm single, I don't have a boyfriend, and then 2 days later she has a boyfriend for the last 2
Yeah,
years.
I mean, but you can get a boyfriend whenever, but still, I agree. So, all right, guys, and now that we've talking about all the negative stuff, let's get to some positives. How about it? Ruffhouse deals, free stuff. Coming out September 17th on the Epic Game Store, you will be able to download Stick It to the Man. September 17th. What is Stick It to the Man? Hard hat tester Ray has a bizarre accident and wakes up with a giant pink spaghetti arm sticking out of his brain.
What?
Yes.
Is this a children's book? Like, what is this?
With his awesome new powers, he can read minds and change the world with stickers.
Because a
But
giant
he's on
pink
the run.
spaghetti is sticking out of his brain.
But he's on the run for a crime he didn't commit. Want to know more? September 17th, you can download this game for free and find out.
We can find out why he has a giant pink spaghetti arm sticking out of his head. Jesus.
That's right.
Oh,
So there's your free game of the week, guys, on Ruffhouse Deals.
That's a hell of a free game.
Also, I can confirm currently right now EA Play is not part of Game Pass yet. It will be probably once Series X launches, but I downloaded the app. I was playing
It's
around
not
with
on
it.
right this second.
And it's not ready.
Okay.
It asks you if you want to sign up. So
Cool.
not yet.
Cool. All right. And next up, we got what's coming out this next week. A little bit of a shorter list than usual, but we have Bullets Per Minute for PC on the 15th. It's a rhythm action FPS roguelike where you must shoot, jump, and dodge to the beat of an epic rock soundtrack. I actually love the idea for that. Have you ever played Thumper, Ruffhouse?
No.
It's Thumper is a VR game, but you basically press the buttons on your controller to make this little thing like move back and forth to the beat. And it's honestly really, really fun, and it gets you super into the game because the music and everything like goes together. So this actually looks decent. Delve into a randomly generated dungeon where one missed note can lead to your death. Gain game-changing abilities and loot powerful weaponry to defeat your ancient enemy. That's September 15th again for PC on Steam. Then we also have eFootball PES 2021. I have never heard of this in my life, but apparently it's a thing. And you just it's all about the PES league. What is PES? Have you ever heard of that?
I think it's some type of soccer league, right?
Yeah, it's soccer. I don't know what PES stands for. I've literally never heard of it. This is made by Konami as well, which is interesting. But this will be $29.99 for the standard edition season update for 2021. Then we have Spelunky 2 coming to PS4 on September 15th.
Sorry to interrupt. Pro Evolution Soccer.
Pro Evolution Soccer. Oh, that's what PES stands for?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, there we go. So Spelunky, I do remember this original game coming out a little while back, but basically, don your headlamp, grab your whip, and descend back into the perilous caves in the sequel to the award-winning roguelite 2D platformer. Join Anna, the daring daughter of the original game's explorer, and her friends on a mission to uncover the secrets of the moon's vast and deadly underground caverns. Again, that is September 15th, only for PlayStation 4. Vaporum Lockdown for PC on September 15th. It's a prequel to Vaporum. It's a grid-like based dungeon crawler RPG in an original steampunk setting inspired by old school classics of the genre. Steampunk seems to be the in sort of setting type thing nowadays. Follow the story of Ellie Teller, a scientist struggling to survive disastrous events that happen in the Tower of Arx Vaporum. That doesn't say a price yet, but that will be released on September 15th as of now. Medieval Dynasty, September 17th, is not up apparently because I forgot to pull it up. So give me 1 second while I pull up Medieval Dynasty. I can imagine what it probably is. Discover the wide open world of the Middle Ages with all its dangers and mysteries. Hunt and cultivate your land, build your home, and expand your village into a flourishing medieval town. Actually, this wasn't what I expected.
I thought it was going to be steampunk.
Yeah. Rule and care for your people and secure your place in history by founding your own dynasty. This interests me. Similar to that other game we were talking about that was like better than Civilization, which I'm right on the edge of buying it. It's a $60 game. I'm really thinking about buying it, but it's also a very time-consuming game. Right. So I don't know if I'll end up doing that or not. But again, that's for Steam on September 17th. Mini Motor Racing X. Welcome to the world of Mini Motor Racing X. Strap yourself in or strap on your VR headset, so this is VR enabled, and jump into the nitro-fueled world where little cars mean big fun. So basically another racing game. Pacer for PC, PS4, and Xbox One on September 17th. This is another racing game. It's a high-octane anti-gravity racing game at its most destructive. Customize your craft and weapons, then engage in a campaign, a single-player race, or compete against your rivals in explosive online multiplayer for the ultimate combat racing experience. Kind of almost looks like Star Wars, whatchamacallits. Wow, why can't I remember the name of those things? What are
Pod
they?
Racers?
Yeah, Pod Racers. There we go. Thank you, Joe. Crisis Remastered on September 18th. I'm sure you guys all know what Crisis was. It's basically the game you get to test your GPU. So that's going to come out on the 18th for PC, PS4, and Xbox One. Earth Defense Force 5. This is only for, it looks like, PS4, September 18th. Become an EDF soldier and save Earth. Exterminate the invading aliens, protect peace on Earth. So this is a very typical kind of, kill all the aliens game. It's a $59.99 if you do want to go ahead and pick that up. Super Mario 3D All-Stars, which I've been seeing a lot of lately, just advertised in general. People are very excited about this game. Actually, let me see what they actually describe this as. It says play 3 classic games at home or on the go, all in one package on the Nintendo Switch system. Run, jump, and dive with ease. Make Mario move using the Nintendo Switch's Joy-Con controllers. You can also pass a Joy-Con to a friend. The Super Mario Galaxy game in Co-Star mode. So is this just like a package of 3 of the Mario games? Oh yeah, it's Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy. All in one. So that's pretty neat. That is going to be out on the 18th for Switch. And then WW2K Battlegrounds. PC, PS4, Xbox One, Switch. And gotta throw one of them in there this week. We have one game being released on Stadia, and this is it on September 18th. And y'all know what WWE is, so very typical game as far as that's concerned. A little bit more cartoony than.
No, it looks like it's over the top. I don't know. I'm kind of interested in it.
It kind of looks like, what was that wrestling series on Comedy Central with the Celebrity Deathmatch? It looks like the graphics of Celebrity Deathmatch.
No, it looks way better than that.
Well, yeah, it looks better, but it's just along the same, like...
It's not claymation, which is what Celebrity Deathmatch was. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm actually kind of interested in this game, I'm not going to lie. It kind of looks like just fun
Yeah.
beat 'em up kind of thing.
Kind of
And
like
there's
a
lot of
more
different-
updated version of what we played at PAX. Right?
Yes, I might jump into this. Maybe it's very possible.
So that's it. That's what we got this week, everybody.
That's it. We want to thank everyone for coming on board. Hopefully, you will join us on the 16th for the PlayStation event, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Can't wait.
Check out our feeds for more information as it comes. We hope to see you soon, and we thank you guys for joining. We'll see you later.
Have a great week, everybody.